Today we are going to discuss about the stemming and the lemmatization, and also different normalizations that we have on the text pre-processing that in continuation to the previous topic, right? So we studied about the five different pre-processing techniques. In addition to that, we do have some other technology, some other techniques also. So one such important and very powerful when it comes to a text pre-processing is normalization. So when I say normalization, right? So normalization is basically normalizing the textual words, basically text into kind of you can say root forms, basically, right? So ideally, the normalization, the first step is the converting to a lowercase. Converting to a lowercase, right? So when I say converting to lowercase, let's say you have let's say read in the sentence, and there is a read in the capital, right? I love reading the books, and I love same reading the books in the capital, right? So ideally, the both when you are doing any application, right? So ideally, the both mean same, right? So you have to convert them to either lowercase or uppercase. But in traditional, usually we convert to a lowercase and then process it. But it is up to you. Depends on your need. A bit depends on the industry, the application need. So maybe you can convert to lowercase, uppercase. But it doesn't make sense either of the case. But you can convert to either lowercase or uppercase, right? So convert all them to is lowercase, like so capital I, EAD. Then it will also turn out to this one, and then they're like both mean the same, right? So both will convert to a same case. So then the next second technique is called stemming, right? So stemming means reducing these words to a base form, right? So when you say reducing the words, let's say example, we are walking, and some people we walked, okay? So usually both mean the same ideally, right? If you're living about the sense of these verbs, right? So converting them to a root form or base form is called stemming. Stem is nothing but it's a stem word. Stem word means base form, right? So let's say example, running, okay? Then it will convert to a run, right? And similarly walking, right? And it will also convert to a walk, and similarly walked, right? So it is also a walk. So basically, a stemming is a rule-based system. Ideally, so rule-based means all ing forms you see it will be trimmed. You see all ing forms, right? And similarly, ED forms, and there are like a lot of like this, right? So there are like usually the if you see, these are like the short forms or the root forms or the base forms we call. Those are like stem words. These words are called stem words, right? So example of this is let's say the cat is sitting on the mat. Example, right? So if you convert to a stemming, the cat is sit on the mat. So this is how it will convert. So sitting has turned out to be, if you see, sitting has turned out to be sit. That is what is the stemming, right? And also, if I see the man walked on the floor, right? So if I convert them, the man walk on the floor. So these are like a stem conversion. So if you see walked, it is converted to walk. So the first sentence is before stemming, and the next sentence, like the cat is sit on the mat, is the after stemming that we performed on the same sentences, right? So that's the usual like this. So then the second one is stemming, right? And the third one we have is lemmatization. So lemmatization. So lemmatization is basically, right, it applies some more advanced linguistic rules. It is little advanced compared to a stemming, right, and which applies advanced linguistic rules such as lemmas we call. So it converts to a lemma form. This is converting to a stem word, right? Stem. And similarly, this converts to a lemma form, right? So let's say, what are the examples, typical example, right? So the better, if you see, it will convert to a good. Similarly, yam is converted to be, right? And similarly, mice is converted to mouse, something like this, right? So it is more advanced linguistic root form. These are called lemmas, right? The same example, if I apply, let's say, if I apply the same sentence lemmatization, right, what is the difference? The difference is we don't have any difference at this moment, because the cat is, you see, sorry, there is a difference. So is, you see, earlier it has converted to same, but now the same lemma is converted to be, right? Sit on the mat. So that's the lemma form of the sentence, right? And similarly, the man walked on the floor. So, but this lemmatization also same, because we don't have, we have same lemma form, walk on the floor. Sometimes the stemming and lemmatization will give you the same representation, but in few cases the lemmatization will actually give you a root form or a different meaning, different form of the sentence. So lemmatization is ideally, it is much better than the stemming when we do a text processing, but it takes a long time to apply because it applies the more advanced linguistic rules. Stemming is a kind of rule based system, right? So if you need a faster in computation, you can apply stemming. If you need a more efficient, even though you're not worried about the time, still you can apply lemmatization in that case, right? So these are the three different pre-processing normalization techniques. So we will walk through on the next subsequent topics called tokenization. Once we apply all these pre-processing, then we go to a tokenization. So tokenization is converting the sentences to words or subwords, like kind of smaller chunks. We call them as a tokens in the natural language processing. So we convert each sentence to words or subwords. So that we will study in the next subsequent lecture. See you.